Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, professor of physics at Luther College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. We're talking about the week of March 24th this time around, almost to the end of March. But so we got a great spring sky. We got not a lot of moon this week. Let's start by talking about the planets, though. There's a couple of interesting things we want to look at. First of all, things we can't quite see yet. They're not that long ago. You were hearing a lot about a parade of planets in the evening sky. Maybe it was overblown a little bit. I don't know. But you were hearing about it, and the planets were there. Now, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune have all moved past the sun or in the morning sky. You can't quite see them yet. Maybe by the end of the week, you might be able to start to pick Venus out of the glow of the sun. I don't know. But a week from now, when we're talking about this, you should start to be able to see Venus and maybe Saturn in the morning sky. They're getting separated from the sun enough. So we think about the orbits. We think about our orbit. We think about the planet's orbits. We think about all this stuff going around. And here's the sun, and here we are. And Saturn and Venus and all of these things orbiting around. They're on one side of the sun, and then they're on the other side of the sun. See them in the evening, see them in the morning, and this transition has just occurred. It's in the process of occurring in a big way right here. What we still have in the nighttime sky, in the evening sky, Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter and Mars are both back in prograde motion, and they're moving quickly enough in prograde motion against the background stars. It's relatively easy to check that. So this week, we want to measure Jupiter against Iota Tauri. We think of Taurus as this V of stars coming out of the Hyades, and Iota is a distant Hyades cluster member. And we've got this V of stars, and we're right in the middle of that V of stars. But Jupiter's tracking this direction against that V of stars, and it's going to close on Iota Tauri this week. Iota Tauri is a 4.6 magnitude star. You got a good dark sky, you can see it. Binoculars help you out a lot right here. Starts the week about 2 1/3 degrees. Remember, your finger at arm's length is about a degree. That's that angle we're talking about. So it starts the week about 2 1/3 degrees away from Iota Tauri, and it ends the week about 1.5 degrees away. So it hasn't moved a heck of a lot, but when it's that close to a star, it's relatively easy to track. So try tracking that. It's going to keep closing on it. So this is a 2 or 3 week project to be thinking about doing this. Mars really closes on Kappa Geminorium. Mars, we said last week, bright Castor, bright Pollux, and Mars is zooming this direction in a hurry. And so this is what we're looking at here with Mars, and it's closing on Kappa Geminorium. Kappa Geminorium is in this region below Castor and Pollux. It starts the week 2.5 degrees away, and it ends the week 3/4 of a degree away. A little bit more than 3/4 of a degree away, but less than a degree away. So it really closes the distance there. So watch it close in on Kappa Geminorium and see if you can track that movement. Now, what we're going to watch is mostly in the morning sky from this point on. We're going to talk about the moon and where it sits in Capricornus and the things we can see around it. So on the morning of the 25th of March, so that's Tuesday morning, a.m., the moon is about 20% full, and it's sitting in the middle of Capricornus. So Capricornus is also kind of like a V, and it's sitting here in the middle of this V like that. It's got to its west, if you go out 13.5 degrees or so a fist's width, its arm's length is about 13 degrees. If you go out about 13.5 degrees, you come to a nice globular cluster, M75. So binoculars probably show it to you. If you've got a good dark sky, telescope would be great. Scan out to the west about that distance and see if you can see these things. You will pass Pluto on the way there. So Pluto is a challenging object. You want a pretty big telescope even to be able to see it, and you probably need to watch it over a few nights to be able to tell that it's moving, to tell that you're looking at Pluto. So that's one of your challenge objects for the week, is to try to find Pluto. If you've got the ability to take photographs with a CCD camera through the telescope, then you'll be able to track the motion of Pluto much more quickly. You can do it with a smaller telescope too. You can take an exposure one night, take an exposure the next night, and you'll see the object that moved is Pluto. Pluto is about 8.5 degrees from the moon. 1.5 degrees south of Pluto is another challenge object for you. So this is your big challenge for the week, is to say there's a spiral galaxy, NGC 6907. Fine spiral galaxy, not particularly bright, and so a little bit of a challenge to see, but just a degree and a half below Pluto sits this galaxy. So this is something for you to poke around with if you want to have fun and explore challenging objects with your telescope this week. Let's go the other direction. We drop down to the south and east, and you come to globular star cluster M30. And globular star cluster M30, it's a fine, tight, compact little globular star cluster. Fun to look at. Again, check it out with binoculars. It's small enough. It's bright enough. It's going to be easy to see with binoculars, but it's small enough. I think you'd see it. I think you'll see it fine, but use your telescope there as well. Go up about 9.5 degrees, about one full fist width above to the north of the moon on this night. We're talking 5 to 6 in the morning. We're talking about, before it gets light, but just before it gets light. So 5:30, 5:45 for me, that is. You go up to the north, and you've got globular star cluster M72 and open star cluster M73 right above there, about 9.5 degrees north of the moon. So it's a nice pair of clusters. Check this out with your binoculars. See if you can find the open cluster, and if you can see the fuzzy patch that is the globular cluster next to it. And definitely check it out with your telescope as well. 8 to 9 degrees to the west of that, you've got the two brightest stars, the alpha star and the beta star in Capricornus. And Algedi, the goat, and Dabih are these two stars. Algedi is a double star of 3.6 and 4.2 magnitudes. So two closely paired stars that are pretty bright. 6 1/4 arc minutes, we're saying. That's 300 and some arc seconds. That's a wide separation. That's a naked eye double. You should be able to see that. Like the bin star in the handle of the Big Dipper, that's a naked eye double. Mizar and Alcor. And this is another one. So give that a try to see if you can see it. Binoculars for sure. You see those two bright dots there together. Dabih below there is also a very wide double star. But it's actually a binary star. These stars are moving together through space. We talked about proper motion last week. But 3.1 and 6.1, even if you could see that separation, this is less separation, 3.5 arc minutes, 200 arc seconds. This is less separation, but even if you could split that, the 6.1 is going to be awfully faint for you to see. You're not going to be able to see that with your naked eye. So we got a nice any small telescope should see this nice pair of stars at 3.1 and 6.1. 6.1 is a close double star in and of itself, that 6.1 magnitude star. The 3.1 star, we've talked about spectroscopic binary stars a lot. So these stars where you measure the spectra and you see the spectra Doppler shifting, and you can tell there's two stars here. There's actually 3 stars here. So it's a spectroscopic triple. You can see the spectroscopic lines, the absorption lines, and the stellar spectra of 3 different stars there, and you can see the orbit of those stars around the common center of mass. So lots to do in Capricorn. One night later, you're out in the morning of the 26th, and now you really are pushing it toward dawn because the moon's only about 1/8 full, so you got a beautiful crescent moon. And if it's dark enough to still see when you're seeing the crescent moon, you're right by Deneb Algedi. We've talked about Deneb Algedi many times. You go back in these videos because we had Saturn not too long ago was near here. It was dancing around these stars. And Deneb Algedi is a nice bright 2.9 magnitude star, Deneb, tail of the goat. And Nashira is that star that's right there, a 3.7 magnitude star. The moon's going to be sitting right next to those two little, they look like, to me, when I see these, it looks like a snake bite. I've said that before in these videos, these two stars, the dot. We talk about them a lot because they're right on the ecliptic. They're right on the apparent path of the sun. So we see stars and the moon, planets and the moon go by these two stars all the time. And so that's what we got. We got some fun tracking of Mars and Jupiter this week. Thinking about the other planets having moved off into the morning sky. We're going to start looking for them next week. And then a chance to observe quite a bit of stuff in Capricornus with the moon guiding the way. And the moon being late enough, the moon being crescent enough in its face that it's not washing out these other things. You actually have a chance to go see them. So that's it, everybody. As always, thanks for watching, and we hope you have a great week ahead.